Hi class, welcome to week 6. This is for all of my classes, and so in case you're looking at this video thinking my buttons aren't blue, it's because all my classes have different colors, but you guys are all online this week, and so this video is for everybody. I want to bring your attention to week 6 early because the week is a little bit different. So the first thing I want to point out is you'll notice your Learn Smart is due on the 30th, which is Sunday by 11:59 p.m. I did this because the first half of your week is actually really busy, and so I'm going to let you put off your Learn Smart till later in the week so you can accomplish everything that needs to be accomplished. So let's go into that week 6 and take a look. So we are beginning carbohydrates, which is exciting because we have heard so much about carbohydrates and there's a ton of misinformation, and then there's a way we can think about carbs. Because when we talk about carbs, we're also talking about kale, and we're talking about white pasta, and we're talking about Coke and the kind you drink. And we're talking about all these different aspects of a carbohydrate. And so we're going to focus in on a few different ones. Primarily in this week, we're going to really talk about sugar as well. And so like every week, typically you have your Chapter 5 activity and you have your Learn Smart. Both due by Sunday, don't want to spend time on that. Let's get down to your two major assignments this week. So your first one, you want me to do what? This assignment has you removing all added sugar from your diet for 3 days. This does not include something like lactose, which is the sugar that we find in milk. It does not include fruit, vegetables. Basically, if it's bound to fiber and found in the natural environment besides agave or honey, which are added sugar, we are pulling this completely out of our diet. So you really want to take a look at all of your foods, dressings, condiments. If you eat a highly processed food diet, this is probably going to be a little painful. And so you want to put a little bit of thought into how you're going to prep for this. One of the things that students report the most is that they felt they were hungry the whole time because they had nothing to eat. And that may happen to you. So I want you to A, prep for it, but B, I hope that that tells you a little bit of a story about the food that you're eating as well. So if you are forced to eat some sugar, meaning, for example, bread, all bread has a little bit of added sugar. You can't really go through the baking process without it. So yeah, you can eat bread. And so if that comes up or you find that it's unavoidable, just make sure that you track it and you write out how many grams of sugar that you consumed. With this assignment, you are going to, just like in your 72-hour food diary, you are going to submit those same electronic reports. You can submit them right in your journal. Here's your journal link. So you're going to tell me the story of what you experienced. And then you're going to attach this to your journal. You're going to attach your food reports to your journal. That being said, you need to have accomplished enough of this to be able to contribute to your original post for this discussion board. So even though this is due by Sunday, the 26th, as well as your discussion board. Okay, so let's go into your discussion board. This time your discussion is just between your team, and so you all have teams. If we go over here, you will see the team that you're on. And so what you are going to do is you are going to access the video fed up. You can access it right here. In case this link doesn't work, you're getting it straight from the library. You don't have to buy it or anything like that. Here's another way to get the access through the CWI library. Here you will go, let's pretend I'm team 1. Now, when you open yours, all you are going to see is your discussion board. Here is your discussion board. So what you want to do is you want to read this. I would probably copy this into a Word document, and then I would watch the video and I would take some notes. That way you can kind of formulate your original post as you're watching the documentary. And then you will also be tying this original post to your 72 hours with no sugar, because you're trying to relate you experiencing sugar in your own life. And the whole video isn't just on sugar, but the largest portion of the documentary is about sugar in the United States and how we govern it and how we kind of govern our food. And so you're tying your own experience with sugar, with processed foods, and kind of our quote-unquote natural environment here in the Western world versus kind of that documentary. Okay, so that's why you're going to need to make sure that your no sugar has been concluded as well. So your original post is due by Wednesday night, and then your peer responses are due by Sunday night. Okay, and like I said, again, you'll find these under your teams, and when you click on teams, you will only see your team. So you don't need to worry that you're going to add yourself to the wrong team. You will only see yours. Okay, so if we go back in here to week 6, and of course, like always, everything is right outside of your weekly folder. And the other thing I want to point out to you is now you know right here, kind of the assignments. If you want to learn a little bit more about some of the things you see in Fed Up, here are some really helpful videos. In addition, here are some helpful videos on the physiology of digestion. So the documentaries and all of that, we're focusing more on kind of our relationship with carbohydrates and sugar and processed foods. These videos are going to focus more in on the physiology. Now that we've accomplished chapter 4 and we've laid the foundation of understanding how we actually take the food we put in our mouth and break it down to the point where we can yield its essential nutrients and eventually turn it into ATP, that process is slightly different for every macronutrient, i.e. carbohydrates, protein, and fat. And so you're going to want to study into the depth on carbohydrates, as that is the focus of chapter 5. And so I have some videos here for you, particularly about how some of these hormones work, enzymatic reactions, and the digestion process ultimately. Okay? So I believe you have everything that you're going to need. I think you're going to have a really fun week. Usually students really like this week. Yes, you may not be very happy with me come Wednesday and you haven't had sugar for 3 days, but you'll get over it and it'll get better. And so good luck to you. Let me know if you have any questions and have an awesome week 6.